This is Freee Reign, a podcast about sports, fashion, culture. This is the place you want to be. All right. I am one of the co-hosts, Tony Gill, and along with me, Ando and Vic Lloyd. What's up, guys? How you doing?
Great.
What's happening, man?
Nothing much, man. Like you guys are extremely cool. The
Oh no. Oh no.
Nah, he's the cool
the
one.
vibes, the vibes you guys bring. I feel like sometimes I feel like I have to do I have to bring more energy?
Oh no.
No, you bring the right energy.
No.
You bring the right energy. Right on tap.
Yeah.
But we got a full lineup for you guys. We're gonna go over a lot of things today. So let's start out, man. Let's get right to it. Pack 3 Trace is out right now.
Sure.
Right now, you can get it, and you guys are gonna be very, very excited about these designs. I mean, first of all the packs drops have been great. And for me, they've been progressively getting it's like you guys are fine tuning an already a fine product here at Free Agent. So let's jump into some of these designs, man. We all got our favorites. So
Yeah.
Ando.
Yeah. For me, I think my favorite out of Paques 3 is the ballots. The whole concept with ballots is kind of taking you back to a certain season in a certain sport where you got like 3 Hall of Famers kind of battling out for MVP and Sports Center highlights and just kind of going crazy. And you don't really realize it when it's going on that you're watching something special. There's a lot of speculation. Maybe people don't buy into somebody, but the ballots goes back to 01 in the NBA where you got Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, and Allen Iverson. So like you'll see in the ballots design that there's kind of an outline, a sketched outline of each of them. And then Iverson ended up winning the MVP. So he's kind of a full color forefront of that design. But definitely one of my favorites we've done. We want to try to start injecting more of those kind of themed things so that it's not so based on like, I like that team, I don't like that team. I think to really pull off the nostalgia factor when you add multiple athletes from one year, now it kind of brings you back. It kind of brings you back like, oh man, like I didn't even realize I was watching these guys go crazy at the same time. And then now we just kind of reminisce about the times when stuff like that was going on.
And before Vic, you jump in there, I think also that time period needs to be remembered because that was the transition from Jordan's dominance into the remaining years of the NBA. That was a tough transition for a lot of people. One in particular, people in Chicago, because the Bulls were awful.
Yes.
During it. So it's like the NBA didn't exist for some people because Jordan had left. But that time period and Iverson winning that MVP, it needs to be remembered what that time period was like because there was actually great basketball being played. It was just we were all so drunk off of the Bulls and Jordan's dominance that we tend to forget what was going on.
Yeah, exactly. And there's the nature of sports conversation is always love and hate and speculation versus confidence that this is the year for them and stuff. So even while it's going on now, you have guys who maybe Wemby loses in the finals to the Knicks, and now you got a whole crowd of people like, oh, he's not going to be able to do it. And like you have that. No matter how great someone is, when it's happening, you're not going to appreciate it. You're gonna and so, yeah, man, that's why I love that design. Kind of brings you back to that point in time. And I think it is an interesting era as well, as far as the generations that it'll span, like having, for example, like, like people my age, I remember that it was at a time when I was buying basketball shoes. I wanted the answer. I wanted the, the red bubbles on the side and stuff like that. But then even kind of kids, maybe a decade younger than me, they're still familiar with them to where this shirt coming out now is not so much vintage to them. Maybe it's a little like, retro-y or, something that they remember, but not super clear. And that's the same with us, sports events that happened before our time. We're still familiar with them. So I think it was there's a dope little time capsule kind of bringing you right back,
And also Iverson as a cultural icon, fashion-wise, too. I think this is what kind of hits on that as well. Not only did he win the MVP, but during that time period, Iverson was everything. In terms of like, no, he's not coming in wearing a suit. No, he's not going to do your typical, press conference, right? He was bringing kind of streetwear and hip hop, combining that back to sports, and
Exactly.
he was the initiator of that as that era of the 80s and 90s style of player, big suits and the Jordan era of style had transitioned now where sports and hip hop were meeting together in those early 2000s.
Yeah. No, yeah. Allen Iverson was definitely like a cultural like pivot point for the the NBA. He's also the reason that they went back to a dress code. Just because like, for the longest, they kind of was letting them do their own thing, where they was like, oh man, this dude's, tripping. So
Getting a spare break.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, that was cool. I also in 2002 Philly All-Star weekend, I was there and I saw Allen Iverson get somebody's mixtape CD and throw it like a frisbee out the window as gone. He told dude he didn't want it. So that was interesting. But yeah, definitely like, really, really cool point in time. I'm glad that we did the shirt to kind of commemorate that time, and those three great are now they're all Hall of Famers.
Yep.
So dope.
Yeah. And quick note, Vic's right now wearing this is the 101 that we rarely get to pull the packs ourselves because we don't know what's in them. Only the staff does. And the only reason the staff knows is so that people don't get duplicates. But anyway, Vic's got the 101 on from Paques 2, and it just so happens to go pretty well with the new Ube Matcha joint that he dropped with Leaders, which is super fire. So yeah, I'm jealous you got that one. I wanted the Walter really bad from 1. I wanted the Iverson from 2, and I designed them, and I got
crazy
none of
is I didn't even know I had it. Because I had the pack, I got it, and then was just sitting in my drawer. And I was just like, man, I kind of need something to wear to when I DJ for the Forever Mind Fest. And I was just like, well, I'm going to open it and see what shirt it is. And it was this
Yeah.
one. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I get a text from him, and I'm like, bro, who'd you talk to, man? Like, we tried. I wanted to stay as true to like the random nature of
They created this, and they don't know what shirts that they're gonna get. This is crazy.
Yeah, we got to yeah. But I got an idea, and we can record my idea so people will know. I think we should start doing like so we can get the ones we really want all the time. We should just do a staff print on them so we can get the design.
Yeah.
Our own little proof of print.
Yeah.
Like a little thing.
Not,
So it's
not for resale.
not for resale. Like
Test print.
test print. Yeah. So I don't have to guess.
Maybe we'll start dropping some test prints into the packs.
Yeah.
People can go get that super rare first off the line joint.
Yeah. See, good little. Yeah, we can keep the rarity going.
So what do you got at the top of your list for Paques 3?
Murakami, man, Southside Samurai, Southside Sensei, man.
Yeah.
I need that. I need that official collab, man.
Yeah.
With my guy, man.
Yeah.
So really, really excited. It sucks that we dropped it and he hurt right now.
Yeah.
Not playing, but it's still a good one to chase. Rookie card.
Yeah, I think he represents a lot in Chicago baseball, where we've had good teams get put together, but we've never really had this superstar potential kind of guy that's gonna hopefully get paid a bunch of money that we can start really rallying around, whether we make the postseason this season or not. Something to be excited about moving forward. Right now, the farm has been sending up really good stuff. So yeah, but the Murakami design is super fire.
That was a tough one for me. I love this design.
Yeah.
I think it embodies everything that he's bringing and his culture into the South Side, where I think it's great that every era, every player brings something different. A couple years ago, right, the team was built kind of around the style and the influence of Tim Anderson. Now I feel like it's changing a little bit, and I think this design reflects that change and that.
And it's
a timestamp.
It's a nice new flavor for us as well, because it's like even his personality, like outside of him like crushing baseballs, is just the personality when you see him, Coulson, and Mydroth kind of just goofing around all the time like they're little kids, and then they get up to the plate and they're terrifying to throw a ball to. Like that's a really cool, just having some kind of character there that people can latch on to, get to know these guys a little more outside of their competitive nature. But yeah, I don't know, with the flying pinwheels.
Yeah, that was hard.
Yeah, I love that design. What do you got at the top of your list?
So for me, it was between the Murakami and this one, which I ultimately picked. This Jordan 3 design, man.
Yeah.
Like, one, anything Jordan is eye catching to a sports fan. And it's automatically, no matter if they read the shirt or looked at the shirt completely, you see the red and you see 23, you turn your head at it.
Yeah.
And it's so embedded and ingrained in sports and pop culture that, I mean, obviously there could be a terrible design, but it's going to stop people. And this one is an excellent design that people are going to be like, where did you get that from?
Yeah,
And how do I get it?
It's a good.
And that's the only issue with the randomness of the pack drops is I can't tell you how to get it. You just have to take that chance.
I could bring you to the water. I can't guarantee you'll get assists. But yeah, like it's a cool change of pace too from the previous two Jordan designs, which everybody has loved, both of them, especially the first one, where it's more kind of based in realism and trying to bring you up close to him, where this one is more of a tribute to him, kind of an artistic ode to him with that kind of anime style.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm a big anime.
Yeah, the kanji at the top says lone goat, kind of addressing the whole, debate on who's the best.
Y'all officially
so yeah, the lone goat. So you got him sitting up there at the top of the mountain by himself. I think it's a super fire design. And one thing we did with this one that's kind of like we're saving for the pop-up that we'll be announcing soon, but we did some canvas prints on all of them, so we'll be stretching some paintings out, and the lone goat is one of them that we definitely will have at the pop-up.
Check that out. Yeah, Free Agent art.
So
taking over.
So we just mentioned our favorite designs from this pack, and there's other designs here that are also excellent. You got the Drexler. You guys kind of updated the Tyson one. I mean, these are all great designs. Please go check it out and go grab one, right? Like, and then take a picture. If you pull the Jordan 3, let a DM Free Agent, because I maybe would like to purchase it off of you. But I think when we look at the rarity, right, and what makes you guys decide the variation of the rarities between the designs, how does that go?
So deciding the rarity comes down to it's not random. Like it comes down to like how much goes into actually making that shirt. Cause you look at something like that's why we started introducing that checklist to let people know, like, this one is a 20-inch by 30-inch print. This is not something that's coming off the press 10 at a time. Like, this is something that is being worked on by one person with their hands for 15, 20 minutes just to get the print right, and that's just one of them. So when we decide to make something rare or a one per, that one takes the most out of us to make. So you are getting a more expensive product, as far as like it takes a lot more to make those rare ones. It's not just like, oh, they decided to only do a couple of these. For the most part, it comes down to like, is this one going to take a lot of resources to create? And if it is, then let's make that the special one. And then some that are more easy to do, maybe we'll do more of those because it makes more sense to do more of them. So the rarity does come down to like the product you're getting got worked on longer, and our hands were on it for a longer period of time, making sure all the details were right. So yeah, that's the rarity mostly comes down to that. And then now with this new palette variations, you see the PV next to the designs. That's where we're going to be reintroducing designs with just a remix on the colors. So we'll sit down and look at it, and Vic's the color king. Between his shoes and his hats, he knows how to put together crazy palettes. So yeah, having that there now as well too, that'll factor into the rarity as well, where it's like we don't want to overflood how many are out there. We want to try to limit it, especially if it's a design that means a lot to us.
Especially in a time where, like, when people see something dope, it's like, okay, now once one person sees it and expands, oh, I want to get that. You guys are actively not taking the bait of, oh, people like this design, let's just make more of it, and then we'll sell more. You guys are valuing the quality of it and making it true to, if you pull one of the Jordan 3 PV, you might be the only one in your area that even has this shirt. Maybe in the city that even has this version, of the shirt. Vic, like when you look at, okay, how do we define? Does the person go into that, right? Like
Who the athlete
like
is,
who the
what?
athlete is.
Well, I think
impact
that goes
very too.
into the impact of the design, but I also think that it's like we're trying to create like what used to happen in like the sneaker game, and that's the scarcity and the rarity. Like that don't really exist no more because all the brands know now. Oh man, this is hot. We just gonna make a bunch of them and try to sell
Right.
as many as I can, and it's trying to do all those things to create some loyalty to our brand. So when we start doing just the inline stuff of Free Agent branded things, that all the people like they want to be a part of our team and our growth and like be truly fans of the brand. And so we're using the art to kind of lure them into being a part of the brand.
On the other side of that, because it does make sense to increase the value of your product. Scarcity is the balance. On the other side of that, where is that balance? And this is probably getting to a little bit of the business side of things. Of hey, to give people that hope of, hey, I could get this, and there's going to be enough for me to get this, and balancing that out, that portion of just the amount of sales that you could make versus making sure that that scarcity and making sure that the high value of the product.
So
If that makes sense.
yeah. I mean, so like the decision making of the business behind, well, we could make more money on this. Why wouldn't we? It's kind of something that you have to have. You've got to have some control as far as with something like Paques, and you're trying to create this mystery box thing. If somebody licenses an IP and they want to make mystery box toys or something, they're playing off of everybody knows this already, and obviously we're bootlegging likeness for this chance at experience. But I think that's the word that makes the difference is experience. Is that my goal isn't to make the coolest shirt of this one person that we can. It's to kind of make sure that experience is constantly injected into the process of buying it. So we've noticed a lot of people who have been buying Free Agent since we started, who are buying more of it because now there's a game to it. It shows up at your door and you're like, man, this better be the one. And then we've had people, order two, they like them, they wear them, but then they come back and buy two more because they're like, I got to see if I could just get this joint really quick. So the experience behind it. And then for me, getting one that I wasn't going for, but then maybe I'm like, if somebody gets the Drexler out of this and they aren't familiar with them, now go educate yourself yeah. So I think
because I also think the cool thing about it is they're all dope designs.
Yeah.
So you can wear them all. It's not like it's not a dud design.
Right.
Like, oh man, it might be like somebody like Andrew was saying, it's like, oh, I'm not familiar with them. But yeah, man, you got Google, you got all these AI things now. So many things that can just give you information, so you can be a learnable moment. So that's a part of it too. It's the chase and the education. You can learn about something that you maybe didn't know about.
Yeah. Pack 3 out now. Get you one of these dope designs. Again, like Vic just said, there's no dud in this pack. You're gonna be very happy with what you get. And the rarer you get, the happier.
And also pull up to the pop-up if you get something you don't like.
Yes, sir.
Probably somebody there to want to trade with you.
Yeah.
So
if you get the Murakami XL, talk to me, bro. I'll put $100 bounty on the Murakami XL. You get that going.
You may need to start a Discord for Free Agent.
Yes, we're gonna have
within the community.
If you pull the Murakami XL, I'll give you $100 for it. I need to have that.
Or he may come see about you like a mob boss. Free Reign. We'll be back after this. Free Reign podcast. You guys know what it is. So we're gonna get into some sports. And fortunately, we are all Sox fans.
Southside.
Yeah.
And they're good.
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah, man.
And I want to set this up and get you guys' reaction because I wrote about in my newsletter that I don't know how to really truly enjoy what's going on and what's happening this year, because we're so ingrained through the trauma of being a Chicago sports fan of thinking this isn't going to last. how do we make this last, versus enjoying kind of what's going on game to game, series to series, day to day during a baseball season, and it's long. So I think my struggle with watching what's going on right now, they're leading the division. Hopefully they stay that way through the injuries. But enjoying what's going on now and not too much leaning on how does this go past this year into the next year, and always thinking, okay, how does this get you to a championship, versus, there's something weird and dope is happening right now that we should probably take our time and appreciate.
I just think it's dope because I feel like what's happening is like we're 100% like a year early.
Yeah.
Like this season, I was just going into it like, I hope we don't lose 100 games again.
Yeah,
That's all I cared about.
The bar was in hell.
Yeah. I was just like, man, I just don't want to lose 100 games again. So, and then we started winning. I'm kind of like, what is going on here?
Exactly.
Then Murakami became like a superstar, like in a week.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man. Then we're calling up guys left and right, and they're good.
Yeah, I think there were like levels to it. I think once Murakami got hurt and guys started coming up from the farm, and the guys who were already on the starting lineup still kept winning games, was one of those things that was kind of the next level of like, oh, well, maybe we're buyers at the deadline. Like, like that changed that next level up, and now you see it. I mean, like, it doesn't come without concerns. Like right now, away games are a major concern of, especially if you're in that, are we going to win the division or be a wild card or not make it at all? Now, that means a lot to a team like the Sox, who like, we're playing great at home. Like where those last 3 innings, our offense shows up, but having that kind of in the air. So there's still, the worries with it. But for us, like you said, the bar was so low that it's fun to watch baseball again if you're a White Sox fan. Like it's fun to come see who's going to show up. And then when you have these young guys coming up, like Braden Montgomery, I think obviously his first game in, he hits the walk-off to win the game, which was awesome. But since then, he has been one of the most consistent guys on offense. Like he's been hitting doubles, constantly getting on base. And then, guys like Mydroth who are keeping their consistency up and stuff like that. There's moving pieces. It seems to be like they're moving positions more than I'm used to seeing, but I think they're trying to make sure people get their rest, and especially while we're kind of waiting. Like we just got Teal back. And so Teal's back this week, played last night. And Murakami is supposed to be end of June, early July. So if he comes back and we are still in this close race and he comes back without a hitch, I think we'll be in a situation where even if, and I could say this from far out, even if we miss the postseason and he comes back and looks good, White Sox fans are going to be very excited.
Very excited. And I don't think the postseason was anybody's cards.
That would be a bonus. If they and then obviously once you're in, anything, shit gets hot. Right. Like anything can happen. But Vic, you mentioned something earlier about the expectations. I think that's was probably expectations, right? I forgot the saying because it happens in Chicago sports all the time. It's like, I guess that the sentiment of the saying is the higher expectations are, right? Like the more likely to be disappointed. So if I don't have any, then I can't be, disappointed. But with winning, it creeps up in you. I'm like, okay, what could this be?
And I think the White Sox fans have a long enough sample size of having a low bar that I don't think anybody's getting like to, we're still looking at, all right, at the deadline, we need more pitchers. Like we need more pitching because we see the guys show up on offense and keep us in every game. And then it seems like we can't get out of a 7th and 8th inning without without the bullpen coming in and giving the other team a shot. So there's needs like that. And I don't know. I mean, at least for the 3 of us, we're all just happy to watch games where the Sox win. But I think there's plenty. There's definitely holes to poke at it, and I'm sure Cubs fans have plenty of theories on why this is all a flash in the pan. But I think there's just as many legitimate arguments about people like Colson Montgomery since Colson Montgomery is not being talked about enough, I'm a big fan of him. And you know, I'm collecting his cards, and but like the stuff he's doing, okay, 40 home runs through 40 games. These are the other people who have done it with him: Pete Alonso, Mark McGuire, Rudy York, Gary Sanchez, Aaron Judge, Colson Montgomery. 40 home runs through 40 games. Those are the only people that do it.
Yeah.
Since his MLB debut last year, only Schwarber has more home runs than him. So this is the guy. This is not the superstar of the team that we're waiting to come back. This is a guy who's been consistent since that happened, and I feel like that energy that got injected into the White Sox organization stayed there and might have gotten stronger after Murakami got hurt. I think that's why everybody's kind of like, it went from like to like, oh, okay, and to like, let's go to a game, and now it's like, you know, everything kind of ramps up from there. But that was the biggest shift in energy, was once he got hurt and we kept winning ball games. And I think now you know, we do have this confidence that hasn't turned into crazy expectations, but just to see him break into the playoffs, seeing how much fun those guys are having out there. If your team's losing every game and they're having fun, you're probably angry. But if they have a shot and they're having fun, you have a reason to watch, and you have a reason to with that long of a season, you know, knowing that the game you're playing tonight could mean something is something we're not used to, and something we're excited about, where, you know, we're sitting down and watching baseball a lot more than we have in previous years.
Yeah, and on top of all that, we have the #1 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's like the whole thing about being buyers or sellers at the deadline is like, I think everything's such a pleasant surprise. I don't think they want to give up any of their prospects.
Yeah.
To trade, to try to get Pistons in, to try to go all in.
And
this year.
honestly, for how much deep-rooted disappointment there is involved with being a Sox fan, is that I almost want them, like, let's keep building. If you can give me a couple years of this, that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah.
And we kind of would prefer, like, you know, nurturing this culture, because I think that's with Chicago sports. I think that's one thing we don't have. You look at a city like Boston that are kind of perennial contenders across the board.
Yeah.
With Chicago, we have these years, you know, these like 1 or 2 years, with the exception of, you know, of Jordan and his runs. We'll get a 1 year appearance in the championship and a loss, and then, you know, each franchise has one or two rings, with except the Bulls, of course, and then you know, we're used to these, like, okay, it looks good. So now you're seeing with the Bears, I think for the first time you guys have this, and I say you guys, you're Bears fans, I'm a Bills fan, but you guys have this foundational confidence, not just like, we might sneak one in this year. That's what we're used to, is like, could we sneak one in or not?
Yeah.
Now it's like, whoa, I can see how 3 years from now this still feels good. And that's where, so now, you know, seeing that as a Bears and Sox fan, you're like, man, is Chicago sports about to start changing things up? Which
and that's I think that's an excellent point that you brought up, is foundational trust from the fan base.
the structure.
Hey, it matters how you build and how you get to a destination versus just the destination. Like the teams that are always in it, right? People say there's debate, right? Like, man, I'd rather ride this roller coaster wave of kind of incompetence to, you know, greatness.
No, but there's a great thing about being
there's
a San Francisco 49ers fan.
Right.
You're never bad.
My team is consistent. My team is smart and know what they're doing. Even in the lean years, we can trust that.
And it's a big deal, because sports are more fun for you throughout the year. Like, you get more to, like, you know, if you got 4 bad teams across the major sport, it's like, all right, I got to get in a fantasy league to care about this, or I gotta go put together some parlays to really get my blood flowing. But
that's where the trust happens. Yeah, even if a team is bad, and it's very hard to be consistently championship contending every year in any sport.
Like we say,
but if there's a plan, if the GM and the president and the owner, you can say, hey, when Theo got to the Cubs, he was honest. He was like, I'm going to strip this thing down. It's going to be bad, but we do have a plan to get back and
I think you just introduced us to our perfect segue into the Bears stuff. I think the Bears have finally figured out all the on-field stuff.
Yeah.
Now just everything else is a mess as far as where we're gonna play and all of that. So
Yeah, I think the Bears definitely have Bears fans definitely have a reason to believe this is a new era,
Yeah.
like an unprecedented era of stability.
yes,
And you start to see this. I mean, that's where kind of like the whole stadium debacle that's
Yeah.
going on, right? That's a big deal. And my first knee-jerk joke as somebody who's a Bills fan surrounded by Bears fans, so I kind of have to, for my own survival, not like the Bears, but like things like the stadium thing, at first my knee-jerk joke to it was, you guys were fans for 100 years while they were bad. You finally have a reason to think things are going to change and they get out of town. But realistically, I think the stadium move, a major stadium move like this, can kind of put a real stamp on this idea that here's what the new Bears look like without having to move the franchise. You have it is a layer of new hope that's like, no, let's stamp this stadium on it and let's change things up. Let's change things up, because with something that storied and been around so long, you get used to patterns and you expect them to return. But the more changes you can make like that, the more really dynamic changes that change the way everything feels.
yeah. Well, I also
Transitioning from White Sox to Bears.
yeah, but I also don't feel. I feel like the Bears aren't going anywhere. They're not going to Hammond or Arlington. They're gonna be playing right there, just like they've been playing. Just like they said they was moving when I was a kid and didn't happen. Just like they always say we're gonna build something over here, it doesn't happen. They're gonna be playing in Soldier Field forever.
I think
Just to catch everybody up with the latest from the Bear Stadium, there is going to be another conversation with Illinois lawmakers. So Illinois is still very much in at play, and I think Illinois will be, and I think the legislators know that Illinois is always going to be in play because the Bears don't want to go to Hammond, Indiana.
No,
They're doing everything they can business-wise. If the Bears were Sharks, they would have already taken the Hammond, Indiana deal because they're getting everything that they're asking for from Indiana. They don't want to go.
yeah.
So
and they really
Illinois
don't want to go
lawmakers
to
know that.
Arlington
So
either.
yeah,
They will go to Arlington, but they want to be on the lakefront. There's nothing more picturesque on Monday Night Football than swooping over a stadium, seeing the skyline, seeing the, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to see single family homes and then your stadium.
well, I think I think the reason why I would kind of push back on the notion that like it's just going to stay the same and nothing's going to change is because there is a pretty unique dynamic for the Chicago Bears. They're one of the only franchises in sports where the owners made their money off the team.
Yeah,
Like everybody else, they make their money doing something and then they buy a team and now they have money to go do this stuff, where the family running the Bears, they made their money off the Bears. Right. So it's not like, it's not like the asset to cash ratio is the same as most other franchises. So they need to be resourceful with these negotiations. They need to get as much as they can out of it because of the jump in the value of that franchise is going to be so big. They kind of, you've got in a modern era where you have the Bills building the future of stadiums and people all doing this, like they're due for it. And there's a lot of moving parts of it, but I think that's one of the main factors that makes it like you can't just look at what normally happens with stadiums and assume that's going to happen, because they are in kind of a unique seat where it's like it's not. They're not going to maybe move at the same pace as everyone else because they've got more to consider.
And we're also at Soldier Field to 2030 at least.
2033.
Yeah,
At
least
they're in there. So
yeah.
but the way they're talking and what they've always said is they want to be in their new building, which is not going to happen now. It was 2027.
Right.
They're kind of they're past that by now, but the Bears have fumbled this kind of all the way through, and now with the updated news, they're actually now working with the people that are going their votes to get this thing going and get these new bills passed. Look, I'm not a fan of the public paying for private.
No, not at all.
I'm not a fan of that, but I also live in a reality where it's most likely going to happen. Anyway, we're already splitting the bill. We're still paying for Soldier Field renovations. We're probably gonna end up paying for this new building if they stay, at least in part if they stay here, just because the Bears can't afford to do this on their own. So that's just kind of the reality of the situation and why Illinois is still going to be in play. But you're right that the Bears, that's all they have. The McCaskies, this is their business.
Yeah.
This is the money that they make that makes them wealthy.
Yeah.
They're not wealthy outside of this. So if we're honest, in the grand scheme of things, they're richer than us, way richer than us.
Yeah.
But in the spaces that they invade, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. They can't afford to go out and pay for their own space.
Yeah, the leverage
And-
the leverage for them is pretty unique among sports franchises.
Right.
Their lack of leverage, I guess, where it's just like, well, if you guys don't want to do it, we're gonna go do it ourselves, and you're gonna miss out on this money. It's like, no, if you guys don't want to go do it, why? Why not?
Right, and there's all of this kind of collapsed into a very interesting conversation for them with the economy being what it is right now, with the war that's going on that is raising the prices, and now you're presenting this to the people and saying, hey, we know gas prices are crazy, we know that grocery prices are crazy. Would you mind helping us pay for this stadium that you probably will never go or maybe go once in your lifetime? Would you mind doing that?
Hey.
And also seeing what just happened to the Kansas City Chiefs too, where they've been stable. They have the best quarterback in the league. They have one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, second best quarterback.
And the people of Kansas City said, no, we're not paying for your stadium. So now the Bears are coming in right after that and saying, like, we're not as successful. Our quarterback isn't as good. We don't have this long history of winning in recent years. Would you mind paying for a stadium?
Yeah.
We're excited.
Mhm.
So excited.
You guys like hope, right?
Yeah. So a little bit of hope. Hope is like dope, man.
Hope ain't free, man.
So it changes every week. It changes every day. So keep following the news. There are people out there, Adam Pohl, that are keeping us abreast about what's going on with the stadium. It's big news. It's not just sports news.
Yeah.
It's heading major news
Because it impacts wherever it goes, it impacts that area greatly.
Yep. So this isn't going anywhere. It looks like they may stay. I don't think they're going to go to Indiana.
I don't see Indiana.
Yeah.
It's Arlington or the lakefront.
I mean, they already bought Arlington.
Yeah.
Why would
But that's like a sale that's somebody else.
Yeah.
It's real estate.
Yeah. But all right,
We'll see.
All right.
we'll be back right after this. NFL is like joy, right? Every day could be NFL day, no matter if in season or out of season. So we definitely got to bring that here. We definitely got to talk about that. Big NFL fans, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Bears.
Hey, man.
Baby.
We're
Go
Bears,
we're
bear down.
under 2 months until the fantasy draft.
Yeah.
There's maybe 5-6 weeks left of sad season, and then we all get right back to being happy gentlemen, cheering on our imaginary teams.
Yes.
And if you're like me,
This draft.
finding out how much money you're gonna win that year, it's an exciting time. No, but in all seriousness, football is upon us. It's getting closer and closer, and it seems like left and right there's more transaction news, and
We got to talk about the biggest one though.
oh yeah,
Probably the biggest one in recent memory. Probably since the Khalil Mack trade. To be honest, I can't.
yeah, the Rams.
Like a bigger trade.
The Rams are trying to do something, man, and I think there's a lot to talk about as far as what the Rams are doing. I mean, Myles Garrett on top of the Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie add-ons to that defense. When you just had the MVP on offense, and now you're getting the defensive MVP, and you're getting it's a pretty. I don't think anybody's ever put this collection together. So
it's not like Jared Verse was a bad player either, right? Like,
No.
he's a good player in his own right.
I mean, Cleveland won that trade for sure.
Yeah.
But what does that matter?
Cleveland won that trade because of the 5-year time frame of it. Yeah, the Rams did they move is we got a senior citizen quarterback. Let's try to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, in the next year or two. But that's like basically
which makes me feel really like this is all chips pushed in the middle.
Oh yeah.
This is absolutely like now, if they were to lose the first game of the playoffs, it would be, I think, a massive failure. I mean, you have
Massive, yeah.
this is you have these many pieces move into the defense when you have this explosive offense with really talent at every position under that leadership, that coaching staff and what they're able to do. So it's definitely a all chips in type of thing where if you go lose that first game of the playoffs, it's like, man, it's gonna suck for a couple years now. You know?
But they've built up between Sean McVay and what they're doing at the executive level. It's a risk if you're a fan that you're probably willing to take because you trust they've gone without picks for a while.
Yeah.
They're not too big on the draft because they feel confident that, hey, we're gonna have draft picks. And no matter where we pick, we are able to find talent.
Yeah.
The way McVay's a standard, right? He's the best, somebody with the best coach in the NFL. They haven't won as much, but he can make anything happen. So you make this deal because you feel confident that not only Matthew Stafford can still play at the top of the league, right? And just won MVP, but also because Sean McVay knows what he's doing on both sides of the ball, not just on the offensive side. But he is a all around head coach that you trust with this move, and then you just let the cards fall where they may.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the one thing that I have issue with it, not issue, but I mean, like, obviously the most glaring red flag about this move and this organization is that you have two guys on offense who are really like the soul of your scoring, right? With Puka and Stafford. I mean, the season before last, there was plenty of plays where you see Stafford take a hit and you're like, we're a little too old for that, you know?
Yeah.
And so, Father Time always catches up. And so that's one. And then also, I mean, Puka Nacua is an amazing talent. I just, with his stature, I feel like every other play when he gets hit, I'm like, oof, he might not come back up. He looks like a guy who could get hurt on every other play, and he's still a savage and not afraid, but there's a reality of how large defensive players in the NFL are, and especially if it's short route yardage with linebackers and stuff, and even some of the sideline plays where you see him kind of get hit to the sidelines. And when you are kind of, not a workhorse, but you're definitely relied upon, and they're not scared to target you back to back because you'll have an edge on the defense. I think having those two injury-prone weapons could make, if one of those goes down, everything could come falling down.
There's something to be said about that in the way Sean McVay likes to play football. He wants to be physical. He wants to challenge every opponent with physicality from unlikely sources, right? The wide receiver position is, hey, I want the big strong guy to out physical you. I'm going to line him up as a tight end sometimes. I'm going to line him up in the backfield sometimes. And I want to see if you want to match us physically. But the hit on that, no pun intended, is injuries. Is injuries. And if you're going to go that route, you're really banking on Puka to be able to stay healthy in order to do that, on top of whatever Puka is doing off the field.
I feel like they gauge this whole thing is, if nobody gets hurt, they feel they can win it. But that's what this whole thing is.
There does seem like an urgency, though. Like, if you remember back when the Aaron Donald retirement talk was going on year after year, I remember hearing something about McVay and potentially not wanting to continue coaching.
Right.
Where he kind of spoke about it like a quarterback at the end of his peak, where it's like, yeah, we'll see a couple more years. And I haven't heard a lot of that talk again, but it kind of creeps up when you see this kind of urgency. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not poking holes in what's going on. They look like the scariest team in the league. But when that kind of urgency gets pushed forward, you do think like maybe he's like, especially with what they did in the draft, and it came off as unapproved by him. Maybe it is a thing where it's like, okay, we do have a time limit here, and I want to go get a championship while we can.
Right.
So I mean that's all speculation, but with that kind of urgency, it's I mean I love it. I love any kind of really risky ballsy move like that where you're gonna put it on your guys and do that. But as far as consuming the information and trying to make sense of it, I definitely think if there feels like there's something we might not know about this kind of urgency.
I think it's I think that's a good point to discuss, at least for the next couple minutes, is it does feel that way.
Yeah.
And he's already had that kind of teaser after they won the first championship, and that could have been a contract play, right? Hey, I need to be the highest paid coach now.
Yeah.
But I think more and more from a player standpoint, right, where players are retiring earlier because of their physical health.
Yeah.
But also what it takes to be an NFL head coach, it weighs on you mentally, emotionally, and
You're a
the most
high
important
stake-
part, your family,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen your family in 2, 3, 4, 5 years to live this dream of being an NFL head coach, that weighs on you a little bit. And I don't know if we consider that as an option when we look at how decisions are being.
Yeah, and especially with a young guy. I mean, you're essentially you're a high stakes, extremely public CEO, right?
Yeah.
And you're under a microscope when it comes to stuff like this. Luckily, he's had a lot of great success, but you definitely have those guys who don't want to let go. And then you have guys across all sports who are like, I'm going to get out of here while I'm on top. I don't feel the need to compete all the time. I know I'm realistic about the cycles of franchises and what it looks like. So, just all those things kind of added up. It gives me this feeling of like, the Rams are trying to have their grand finale, and then go into some sort of rebuild. And like you mentioned with the picks, like they're gonna need a whole new strategy. We know what it's like to not have a strong system of coaching and a tree of people who have a game plan and a way they want to attack the sport. So I mean, a rebuild for somebody like that, it probably looks a lot different, and maybe they're like, let's get what we can out of it. So we'll see. But they're not the only ones that I've noticed making a statement as far as what they want to add to their roster. I think the Giants continue to add pieces, and I hear more and more about what they're doing, but with their recent additions, I feel like with the coaching move was a big one. It's still kind of up in the air. I don't think Malik won't be there for the beginning of the year. So
Signing Odell again.
Yeah, brought Odell.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what are my thoughts on the Giants? Jackson Dart, right?
Yeah.
Everything starts and ends with him and his next level of growth. Hopefully, I'm very interested to see how he's coached this year.
Yeah.
Because last year was all just, hey man, we need your physical body to get into those trenches for us.
Yeah, and I
think you'll have a chance to win.
I think he was so competitive and the way he played. Like I think he throws the ball great, and obviously the most talked about thing is his running. And his recklessness doing that. But there's one coach in the league who has the best record of taking a reckless runner and turning him into a better passer and a more well-rounded quarterback, and that's who his new coach is. So as far as that goes, I mean, as long as he follows that formula and protects himself, they're definitely adding pieces and looking to kind of, like we're talking about with this structural change.
No, they're a surprise team, and I think that would be my call to win their division.
Wow.
Because nobody ever goes back to back and win the division.
Yeah.
in the NFC East. So I'll be like, this could be weirdly the Giants' year. If health stays on their side.
I mean, on paper, you look at the names, right? You got obviously Malik Neighbors, major injury last year. Cam. I mean,
Isaiah Likely's up,
but Isaiah Likely is probably
exactly.
the most interesting name out of the group. Former Bear Darnell Mooney is on this roster, but Isaiah kind of taking that next step as there's no
Mark Andrews, nobody in front of you.
I think there's certain trades where you see a dynamic shift from where they were and how that team operates to where they go. And I think it unlocks certain people sometimes. Like I thought this right when I heard Saquon was moving to Philly, I was like, this guy is going now to the best run protection. And I was all over him in fantasy and stuff. And you see how well he did when you go into this new system. Now look at Isaiah Likely is a guy who's never been depended upon.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a guy who outperformed his expectations when in a system where the Ravens, you never knew where they were throwing the ball.
Yeah.
They have really talented guys. Mark Andrews with age and injury where that got tricky. But from a fantasy standpoint, Zay Flowers is great, but you're not taking him over somebody with a defined role because
Exactly.
the play calling it's anything can happen. You add Derrick Henry to the mix, and there's not really you don't really know an under over on Zay Flowers receptions is a risky bet.
Yeah.
Because
I'm actually surprised that they didn't notice what they had in Isaiah and Mark Andrews and able to work that out better. Where it was like, okay, we obviously, whatever their game plan was, they obviously don't necessarily trust Zay from game to game.
Yeah.
They could have had something more stable with a 2 tight end set going forward, especially the way they want to run the ball.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought that would have helped.
The
They just
Ravens,
never
the
able to figure
Ravens
it out.
are at the top of my list of things I'm most interested to find out. What is the new identity of it? Is it going to be kind of like Lamar, get out there, get back to yourself and you know, set the tone for it, or if the coaching is gonna, if they're gonna try to change how they do things. But as far as it, how Isaiah Likely came up going to the Giants, and to my point about moving systems to one that's way more built for you is like, man, without Malik there, and they got OBJ, they made one other addition at receiver. I can't remember that last one they did, but I think a guy like Isaiah Likely on that team being depended upon is something he's probably wanted for a long time. And I think he's right at that point in his career where you could see him shoot up the tight end fantasy charts for sure. I thought Jackson Dart did a great job at dropping the ball into buckets. I mean, like making throws that, like I said, the running became the topic of conversation, but he was making throws I remember seeing that were really impressive. So we'll see how the Giants shape up, and same situation as the Rams. Hopefully everybody's healthy.
Yeah.
And
Is there any other teams that you guys thought it was interesting so far this off season, or specific players that you think are interesting?
The Browns and that whole weird QB thing that they got going on over there.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what they're gonna do, and now I'm hearing rumors of in the supplementary draft or whatever, compensatory draft, that's what it's called. They might get the Sorensby dude too.
They want to be the first team with 7 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, right now
At 7, you don't have one. So
Exactly.
OTA reports are telling us that Deshaun's in the lead right now for that quarterback position. I don't know. I don't think there's a guy here you can get really excited about finding out he's the starter as a fan of them, because I mean, maybe Shador, just because there's some personality now and we could start getting some swagger to us, offensively. I mean, Judkins is I'm high on Judkins. I think he's a beast. He ran like an angry man last year, so that's somebody who I think you can really rely on. But yeah, I mean, that's an interesting team. The Tennessee Titans, I know you're really big on Cam Ward. I am fully bought into Cam Ward as well.
Yeah.
I think he's somebody who has a lot of potential, especially in like the card world, like collectible cards. Like card values don't move the same way as fantasy values and stuff like that. It comes down to like flashiness, and but quarterbacks in general are really valuable. And Cam Ward's a guy I could see. From OTAs, you're hearing Carnell Tate is making unreal contested catches. He's being heavily targeted by Cam Ward on plays they score touchdowns in OTAs. And Dayball even said this might be the best receiver that I've coached. So
says a lot.
Yeah. They're encouraging the quarterback coach is encouraging Cam to run more. I think you might see that team make it tough for teams like Indy to stay at the top of the division as they have. But yeah, I don't know. I think that the Titans are definitely an exciting team to watch. I'm very excited to watch Titans games this year.
Yeah, and for me, like you mentioned before, I'm a big Cam guy.
Yeah.
His disposition, right? All last year handling all of that losing, where I thought he handled it as a professional, but also letting it be known I'm not okay with this.
Yeah.
That like, hey, I'm not used to this. This is not what I'm about.
That's a good
but did it in a way that didn't disparage any of his teammates or his coaches, which ultimately were changed anyway.
But
But
that's a
he-
good point. That means a lot to me. I mean, I think it's an important thing to start noticing, because you see things like Aaron Rodgers and his disposition towards the team is like, I mean, at this point they're pretty much like, man, can we roll the dice and get 1 year of what we remembered? Because there's not a whole lot of positive energy being brought by him.
Yeah.
If anything, it's probably creating hostility.
Right.
And as the production winds down, I'm sure there's plenty of guys who are like, man, let's move on. Like,
right. It's like, oh, we can deal with it if he's actually
he's
at that top
great,
level.
Yeah.
But
deal with it. But if
but
he's just-
appreciating those quarterbacks who are honest and humble, but at the same time take accountability and expect greatness from themselves. I think that's a thing that, I mean, it's definitely an age thing. Once you're a guy like Rodgers, you've got plenty to kind of rest your head on. But the way Cam has carried himself, I think I could see him shooting up the fantasy charts and putting that team into a space where their expectations kind of rise season by season as a fan base.
we record this out of Chicago, right? Like we're not hiding that. This is Chicago right here. But the way that Ben Johnson has been talking about Luther Burden, and we even when the Bears drafted him, I mean, he slid down draft boards, but everybody knew the talent and the ability was there. So now there is no DJ Moore. And when I mentioned to some folks the assumption, right, Rome Odunze, of course he's the number one. Everybody takes a pause, an uncomfortable, pregnant pause. And I'm like, you sure about that?
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I think Luther Burden may be better than
I think that's starting to become more of the consensus. Is I mean, by a margin, especially when you have like the interview that Rome was talking about. This is my new normal in terms of his injury, where it wasn't like well, I'm on the other side of it now, and I'm glad I'm past the setback. It was more of just, I'm stuck in this setback. I'm going to do my best, and then you see, I mean, you pair that with Luther's aggression, and when
the plays he can make, like once he has the ball.
Oh yeah, man, when you see young guys play angry on offense like that, the guys carrying the ball and catching the ball, that they've got this competitive edge where they're there to take the job, and you don't really, I mean, with an interview like, here's my new normal, you don't get that no, that's my spot, that kind of reception. You kind of feel more like, oh yeah, let this guy get the ball. This is what it feels like.
Vic, what are your thoughts on Luther Burden?
Oh, shoot. Last year in fantasy, I drafted Luther. So he's gonna be my keeper in our league already. So I always necessarily I thought Rome has this injury history that I just do not like. But I think that they're both going to be really, really good this year, having really, really different ways that they're going to approach what they do. Rome being bigger in size, I feel like he'll be like more of that like possession receiver, need that first down. But I feel like Luther's really, really going to stretch that field and really, really make some explosive plays.
For fantasy wise, you think as the draft is proceeding, you're looking at it and it's like, okay, do you go with Rome, who is probably pinned as the number one?
I don't think there's
or is that a trick?
I don't think there's a mock draft I'll do where I'll take Rome over Luther. I don't think there's a scenario where I do that personally.
Okay.
But I'm not mad. I wouldn't take Rome over Luther, but I would still take Rome. Feel like the Bears are going to throw the ball a lot. Like
in terms of the pass catchers on the team, all of them, right?
Yeah.
Colson's still the number one pass catcher, right? And then on the outside, next will be Luther. Okay. Yeah. I mean, when Ben Johnson says something,
you pay attention.
You should probably pay attention, because I don't think he's like kind of gaslighting or using it trying to pump up Rome. I think he legitimately sees Luther as And also, here's another aspect too. He never in Detroit was able to figure out how to use Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
And I think that that irks him a little bit in his game planning. So when he sees Luther, he sees kind of remnants of what he could have done with the athletic
Also with
ability
the quarterback.
of Jameson, right?
You didn't like, you think that now you can utilize Luther's athleticism because of Caleb's athleticism.
Yeah.
You're able to stretch these plays.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem with golf.
Mhm.
Golf can get it to you,
Mhm.
but you got to be there already.
Yeah.
He can't extend the play to get it to you down there.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I feel like that's the difference. Like, and now Ben has that and be like, oh, this is my ace in the hole.
Definitely.
All right, that was our NFL portion of it. You're gonna get more NFL. Big NFL energy. You understand me?
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna move on to some culture stuff. All right. Check us out. Free Reign. All right, guys. As you know, Free Reign. We're gonna get into some pop culture and some music talk and something that I think we're all passionate about. Music, Vic being a DJ. I mean, being a former artist too.
Yeah.
And I'm just a big fan of music and culture and the art form of hip hop and rap. But the Griselda drama.
Yeah.
Griselda of the Heads, right? West Side Gun, Conway the Machine, and Benny the Butcher. That had this kind of almost meteoric rise in the last like 5 years.
Yeah.
To really take that style of rap and make it mainstream
Mhm.
to get people to kind of go back. Hey, it's cool to have these poppy songs, but
Yeah.
like somebody's got to rap,
Yeah.
somebody's got to do it,
Yeah.
and they've kind of taken it upon themselves to kind of bring that back, which has been fun to see. But
Yeah.
now
They
we're seeing some cracks.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
I mean, they became for me, as far as their rise goes, where new songs will come out, maybe Drake projects or something, and people ask me what I thought about it, and no matter what I think about it, that's not what I'm driving around listening to.
Yeah.
But Griselda is. That is what I'm like if I'm working and I got a playlist on, like I'll play anybody out of the Griselda camp all day. That's what I'm listening to. So I think they became a fan favorite for a lot of people, kind of in the know, and then how much they spread across different things from wrestling to being a part of Bill's Mafia and all
Right.
that stuff. So yeah, hearing the new thing, Conway puts out the freestyle. He talks about he kind of questions in the freestyle, what would I be without Griselda? What would Griselda be without me? Also mention of a meeting with Jay-Z.
Which seems like the point of the issue was
Yeah.
this meeting with Jay-Z.
Yeah. 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 Or at least the suggestion from Jay-Z of why don't you share some of this Griselda IP with Benny and Khan, and allegedly that idea was shut down by Westside, which gives you an idea of the hierarchy of how things work at Griselda. They are all related to each other, three of them. So that's also another interesting dynamic. But I mean, first reaction is anybody's a fan of Griselda's like, come on, man, because we love hearing their work together. Westside's been on a run, and definitely been proving that he is the yams of the operation, and he is the curator of this. Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts hearing that kind of back and forth going on off the bat?
Well, I guess my biggest thing is I'm a huge believer in equity, and I feel like what I'm saying, they did all build that together, and that's not a unreasonable ask.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh yeah, split it evenly, because I think they do understand that.
It wasn't even evenly. It was like what, 5%.
No, I'm saying I understand that. I understand them not doing it evenly, because I understand that Wes Gunn is kind of the brain trust of the situation as far as like how to structure the deals.
You can tell that. I mean, it doesn't justify a 100 to 0 split.
Yeah.
But then there's things we don't know about it. For example, if Westside has been bankrolling this for years, and to a point where these guys are going out and living the life, and he's the only one taking L's while building it, then I can see where that is. I guess shutting it down right away, it's weird. You got the family part of it, but you've got the business part of it, and that's the part that we really don't know anything about as far as who's been bankrolling
this. But
this.
then also you don't know all his business with doing this, who he got deals with, how this partnership map really looks. So a lot of things to figure out, because I also know that Benny has his own collective,
Yep.
and Conway got their own collective. So they are owners of a thing. It's not like they just like, oh man, we just employees, and they're able to sit at tables as bosses and do some things.
And
So,
you've seen since that freestyle come out, I've seen Conway be what seems like more active than usual, and more motivated to really build his own personal brand instead of being one of the guys on this super team. So that's been good, and maybe that's all it is. Maybe that's just like a, hey guys, if you want to be like West Side Gun, go make yourself like that, you know. So it could be that.
But it's unfortunate. It's kind of, you know, we do sports on here. Pat Riley talks about the disease of me. That you build something successful with a group, and eventually it's going to fall apart because individuals start, you know, hey, what about me? I got to go get mine. And also it speaks to another kind of sporting kind of discussion is organizations win championships and not necessarily players. And Jordan's like, you're crazy, Jerry Krause. Players make, you know, what happens. We got to play. We go on the court and we execute. And it goes to that conversation, you know, as well. But for Wes, I thought it was, he's the curator. He, you know, kind of pictured this and got this all together. But if it was just you and you did not have the talent of Con and Benny in there to really, because for me, it was really Benny that really brought, for me, Griselda on the map.
Honestly,
I entered the Griselda space through Benny.
So I think as far as how easy it is to listen to and the natural average person walking in the door getting into it, I think Benny was definitely the first piece that we all could consume very easily. And then like my journey was Benny and then Conway. And then to be honest, when I first heard West Side, it was over my head, where my first reaction wasn't put more of that guy's voice on. Like, at first, I think a lot of people are a little like, nah, I could do without that at first. And then you kind of realize like, man, and then I find myself like, oh yeah, West Side's definitely my favorite. Every project he puts out, their constant involvement with Rock Marcy and a Conductor. Like, I mean, what they really showed the world is how cold Conductor Williams.
Well, I'm like the other way. West Side was always my favorite from the beginning, just because the subject matter of what he kind of talked about was like my whole lane and vibe.
The art,
from the fashion to the art, to just like, you know, all that stuff was just like, oh,
curation.
Is like really like, you know what I'm saying?
He's more like a Kanye, you know, of like a, let me put some pieces together and see what happens. And I've heard that about him, that he's very, you know, controlling in those environments of, no, like I've got the vision, and you need a visionary to lead. But, you know, it does, when you hear about 5% and 5% being denied like that, it makes you kind of realize, one, you guys are having a conversation about splitting it up once the money was there. That's your first mistake, right?
You should have
your
been.
First
this
mistake
been a
is
conversation.
you got to talk about that on the ride up, which makes me think that either there was a trust of, well, we're family, we'll figure it out, or maybe he is really the business mind that is like, okay, guys, no, we gotta find the money to do this, and they're just like, I just want to rap. And he's like,
I feel like that could have been happening earlier on.
Right.
It was kind of like, hey man, y'all want to go put this thing together. Oh man, I need $5 grand from you. I need $5 grand from you. So I can go do this.
Maybe it was, I want to be a famous rapper. I'm not
no, like man, I can really ain't got that. I can't really do that. Well, okay, well, this gonna be my thing. I want to make sure y'all straight.
And I think that's something speaks to that, because if you notice it, they aren't being very direct, right? Wes is being very direct on social media about his stance on this, that this is nothing. And he's kind of going back and forth and being combative with people on social media, but you don't hear much from the Benny, and which makes me in Con Camp outside of his freestyle.
I mean, Benny's been pretty silent, and there's a chance that was the case, right? Like, let's say that played out that way, where it was a decision to, I want to make this thing, and if you guys don't want to take a risk on it, then I'll do it myself. And then, you know, after years of that, the egos of rappers will play out something like this. When you have a relationship like that, it will play out something like this, where it's like, man, I'm doing more than you think for this. And it's like, well, there was a point in time where somebody had to eat shit.
Yeah.
And
I
not not everybody grabbed the plate, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it, man. So it's hard to hear with the amount of information we have. All we can do is speculate and hope but it does seem to be kind of, you can kind of figure out.
It's a little, as we say, catty. And I think that it's probably behind the scenes getting worked out
Yeah.
in a real, but I just feel like, you know, you want to set the streets on fire. You put stuff in the court of people's opinions.
Yeah.
Put it out here.
And my thing with Wes is, what's better for the long-term health and sustainability of what we have going here? Look, things change, and I get it. But in terms of the court of public opinion, that because art is so subjective, you need to control your own narrative.
Well,
and if this helps Griselda, that then they won't be equal partners, but
I'm gonna
these
tell you
guys
that
are invested.
I
in
think
what
it's
we
a
do.
promotional stunt.
Huh.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
The
they
whole-
don't seem that passionate about it.
Because I wouldn't be surprised this stuff was all put out here
Yeah.
so they can drop this album and this album be the thing that everybody talking about. This Griselda
They came back together.
Together,
Sorted it
do
out.
this new album together, and it's actually
I
talking
think it
about.
But they don't need to do that.
They do
Yeah.
to take the next step.
Yeah.
You got to
I mean,
think that
you got to think
I'll
about.
put it this way: when I say they don't, I feel like they don't need to do that. I guess I didn't expect that strategy
Yeah.
to come from them,
From the underground Buffalo.
Right. It's like,
Yeah.
you guys have been the kind of like this gritty, real type thing
Yeah.
to challenge the strategic marketing efforts of major music labels to kind of switch to if this is true, right?
As a talking point though, it brings up a very real, probably the most real like talking point, which is a very free agent concept. Honestly, the idea of the brand Free Agent is not all sports. It is where sports meet business. The idea of betting on yourself in free agency and saying, I'm holding out for this money, is a matter of learning how the business works and starting to make decisions based on leverage and trying to learn that. And for most of us, man, business is it doesn't come naturally, because when people figure things out in business, they do not want to share it. You have to figure out for yourself.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to go find out for themselves how business works. And there's very few scenarios where you have people trying to educate everybody on this is how this kind of thing works. And especially with something like rap, you could very easily fall into the like, so what happens with those percentages? Like, man, I've been dealing with that for 10 years.
I kind of feel like, it kind of leads into the StoveGod thing.
Yeah.
Is you sign contracts sometimes because it's your only value at that point in time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you sit down and sign something and you don't have the vision of what's going to happen in 3 years.
Yeah.
So you look back what you did and it's like, oh man, I kind of don't want to do that no more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to go over this point too. Right before we move on to StoveGod, I think he kind of connects the two.
Yeah.
Is Jay-Z, right? Like, in what context that he would offer that in front of all of them?
Well, I'll probably Jay-Z. This is probably how it went. They're probably talking about it, trying to figure out how to do something and how to grow to the next level. Probably, and Jay-Z said the thing is, he probably said, when back in my situation, we should have did this, this, and this, and we probably would have kept this ship rolling longer.
Yeah.
And he probably was just like, man, if y'all want to go to that next level, if y'all want to take money and probably get into a joint venture, put everybody in it so everybody can probably
maybe the theme of that conversation was maybe Westside was given hints of like, I feel like I'm pushing forward by myself, and he's like, well, get them some skin in the game. That could have very well been what it is. And I think the business side of it is, you got to understand that business is, until you go swing for yourself and find out, it's not, you never want to learn too late about the business side of
so
things.
this too. They could have been going into a partnership. Maybe Jay-Z said, hey, man, such and such label's interested in y'all, but, this money they're giving y'all is not a gift.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The other guys would probably be like, man, we should take that money. And then the rest of like, no, I don't want to take that money because I owe that money.
Yeah.
And then the other guys, then Jay-Z could have been like, well, yeah, like you say, put some skin in the game.
Yeah.
Put y'all name on that paper and be like, yeah, we own this together. So Now this 30 million, I just don't owe it. So y'all got to put out some projects under this. Y'all got to do that. But you know, you never know.
What's the? I guess my last question before we move on to StoveGod was, what's the negative for West Side in giving them 5% each?
The negative is what if he owes somebody $100 million, and he tell them it's like, yeah, y'all can have 5%, but y'all gonna have to
5% of the debt too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be more to it because you can. Yeah, I mean that would have to be it. Like if you're going to spread equity out, it's got to be for a let's do it together, make my life easier, take some of this pressure off me, and they're, you know, and I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's hard to really analyze what the negative form is because right now, like you're saying, all it is right now is publicity.
Yeah.
But
because that's what I think it
but
is.
the downside of handing those things out, like you said, it's got to be a money thing. It has to be, unless I mean, in the scenario that it's not about money and that he doesn't want to give up an inch. I don't really see that being the case, because he feels smart. He seems smart enough to know you got to spread around, and you want everybody to have a reason to get out of bed, and there's got to be more to it than that.
Yeah.
I mean, the visceral, at least what the alleged visceral reaction was to that suggestion, it kind of made me think, because they know each other so long. It's like, you don't know what these guys' business sense actually is.
I don't believe it was that type of. I don't think it was that type of reaction. I feel like it kind of could have been like, man, this is a conversation, because West might not want to put all his business out in front of Jay-Z either. Now it'd be like, oh yeah, like, well, I can't really do that because of this, and this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you how these two put me in a bond. Yeah. And it could have also been, you know, I mean, Conway, like, I mean, I love Conway, dude. As far as I like, as a collector, card collector, watching his new show that he's doing, opening packs and stuff. Like he's way more relatable than if you would have gave me the you know, spec sheet on Kanye and Conway. How much I could relate to him. He's into the same kind of stuff we are. He's a really cool dude, and I think this could have been a case of, you know, he says something, about it, and then learns more about the actual situation later. Like we said, we don't know exactly how it went down, and when it comes to business like that, there could be a matter of, you know, I'm not going to pay myself. You guys get paid all you want, but I'm going to play the long game on this. And then after taking the money up front, you're like, what's going on with the back end? Then, you know, things change. So, but yeah, I mean, I hope that that you're right and that it comes together into a project, because they are a fan favorite. Definitely, probably my number one listen to as far as hip hop goes. But that brings us right into StoveGod, man, and that one is even. I wanted to ask you, Vic, because you know the situation is really that we got reasonable drought. His one, you know, solo project, and then from there it's been a bunch of features between Rock Marcy and Westside and the Griselda gang. So now we have a couple songs leaked out. There was the Welcome to My Garden joint, and then the Marvin Ye joint. Both of those that he premiered on different podcasts. I immediately was like, man, this next StoveGod album is gonna go nuts. But we've been just sitting here. So I wanted to ask you, can you remember a situation like StoveGod where we've gotten sprinkles of him and he's a super fan favorite? Like, not a lot of people are going to be like, I don't care for StoveGod if you're a Griselda fan. So can you remember another artist coming up where he got this buzz without a catalog, with such a limited catalog like you have with StoveGod?
It's really, I'm trying to think, like.
I got a suggestion.
Who?
Jay Electronica.
But yeah, Jay Electronica is different, because
I mean, it was more self-imposed.
Yeah.
But in terms of the public being more high on him
than like Andre 3000
artists, right? Then, you know, the business.
This is weird because Stoves is all contractual. The music is there.
Yeah.
I've never been listening to that. I've seen artists get a buzz and they decide that they really don't pursue putting the stuff out. But this is all contractual, which is also is like, hey man, just do enough albums to get yourself out your contract.
I mean, look at Drake. He just put out those three.
albums.
Yeah. What? I mean, I'm not a Drake fan, but I'm at 15%, 20% hit rate.
Nah, man, you wrong, man.
Yeah.
Because you're not outside.
Yeah. I know.
That's the whole thing. Is like,
yeah,
it's not for.
They're light me up for that. But I think that, you know, it comes down to, at any point in business, you're going to have to do some things that's like, okay, now I learned from this. So look at how much time is going to be wasted on, I'm not giving you that. Like I saw him say, this is the music business. If you're gonna hold back the business, then you won't get any music. And it's like, that's easier said when there's not ink on paper.
Yeah.
Like the agreement was made. You gotta, and I don't know. I mean, maybe
he got some weird
yeah.
In perpetuity contract in there that he basically saying, I'm not putting that out until we get rid of that, maybe.
Yeah.
Because other than that, if it's just a typical record contract, you got 3 albums to make.
Yeah.
I know you got 3 albums of music.
Yeah.
Just put these albums out and then go on to your next venture.
And apparently, you know, the Jay-Z connection, right, between the last few conversations, Jay-Z went over the contract and like, just put out the albums. So you get off the contract. Like, there's no.
Because it ain't no, because it's like, in like Lil Wayne's situation where Jay-Z helped out is, oh, you have a legal thing here. This is wrong. Right. So we can get you out of this. Right. Look at that contract, be like, well, this, you signed this, and it's not a bad contract.
Yeah, one big thing when it gets to this point is these decisions are so much different to make when there's money on the table. You know, when you're at that point where you're like, oh, okay, this isn't a like, what if I blow up thing? Like the road is paved, and now
he knows what he's gonna make.
Yeah, and that's where it, like the human ego and the human like thought making. You know,
because it was fine when you was a nobody. This deal was fine when somebody was like, I'll take this flyer on you,
right,
and I'll bankroll.
Unfortunately for him, the proof kind of came up before everything came out and it all came to fruition. Where if the proof came from the albums, he would just be like, all right, what's next? Talking to Jay. Like, and but yeah, man, it's, I mean, the songs I've heard that
I've seen the one on Jay, heard the one on Joe and Jada.
That was fire. I think that was the Welcome to My Garden. Yeah, that was super fire. And then or no, maybe the Marvin Gaye joint.
Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, the Marvin Gaye joint.
Yeah, that's the Marvin Gaye for sure.
Yeah, he's a guy who I see like a West Side, where I believe he's a part of the taste making. He's a part of he's a visionary where he's got this storytelling writing style that is almost Action Bronson-ish, but it's also got that West Side of like, I can listen to him for a full album and I wanna bounce around to that. So I mean, he's somebody who, you know, it's gonna be a treat when we finally get some albums out of him, and I hope that it doesn't get bogged up for too long, because
it's time for him to put it out. Let's just get through this, because you know, like I'm the same as you. I listen to Griselda, Freddie, and Stove. Like that's really who I would listen to. Boldy James too.
I'm a big Boldy guy.
Boldy's in the mix with all them.
But yeah, you're gonna get more of this. This is what Freee Reign's about. Business, music, culture. Come on, man. You know what it is. All right, we'll be back after this. Freee Reign podcast. This is all you need. We got you on every aspect of culture, music, sports. We got you right here, and we're gonna pick some NFL division winners. All right, with big NFL. I think we can start just with the one that we're currently in. We're in Chicago. Let's run the NFC North. Fellas, is one of the toughest divisions in the NFL. So I don't think anybody could be wrong. I'm gonna think you guys are wrong, but any one of our picks could be right.
All right, NFC North. I got the Bears winning the division this year.
Okay.
I'm ashamed to say it, but that's what I believe is going to happen.
Okay, well, you know me, it's bear down, so I'm always going to say the Bears.
I mean, it's bear down, but
what you got, Tony? Come on.
I think I'm gonna go Detroit.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go Detroit. I think the Bears do make the playoffs. I do say that.
Okay.
But
so that's your wild card.
I think Detroit has still got it, and honestly, I'm big into Kevin O'Connell, and I know they're probably the least likely to win the division, but I don't think we should brush over Minnesota. So, but I got Detroit as winning.
Okay. Very, very interesting.
All right, moving on. NFC East. All right. You know, that's going to be a tough division, you know, as well. So, Vic, we start with you. Who's your NFC
I got
East?
The Giants.
Okay.
Giants. I got what? This one, I'm firm on. The Cowboys win the division this year. I'm firm on that.
Okay.
I think they're going to come. I think you're at Dak. I think you're at a time in your career where you're about to start hitting that point where you move into a Stafford-like role and expectation. I think if Dak stays healthy, I think you see that. I mean, a crazy duo of wide receivers.
Man, yeah.
And I think that's a team that if they're adding pieces on defense, I think the Cowboys take the division. Who you got?
I think I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with Cowboys too. I mean, the Eagles are right now currently the favorite still, but I mean, you lose a weapon, like AJ Brown, and all he asked was, "Can we get better play?" And the answer was no. Then it's like, all right, well, you get what you get. They're still going to be very, very good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the Eagles are going to be bad.
I think from a fantasy standpoint, I mean, Devontae Smith looks like a gold mine.
Yeah.
Right. I think I've always liked him. I think he's I think it's a similar, like if Jamar left and T Higgins was the number one, you'd have the same kind of explosion of, man, this guy has been good for so long. So I'm excited for Devontae's opportunity, but I don't think I see. I got Cowboys, and Giants, Eagles 0-for-3 on the Freee Reign podcast.
All right, we're already through two divisions. We're making good time here. So NFC West, we just did a long segment on the Rams, and right now they're the current favorite to win that division. But who you guys got?
Rams.
Y'all notice the Seahawks just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you know what? I mean, they're my wild card for sure. The Seahawks are, but the Rams, I think, win the division. There's too much on the line. And like I said, the catastrophe that would be a mid-season injury to one of those key guys, that would change the whole landscape, obviously. But I do have the Rams winning and taking that division this year.
No Niners either.
No.
Man.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Rams.
Yeah,
I'm not going to play.
All right, there we go.
It's hard.
Look, I'm here to make conversation.
Yeah, I know. Well, when somebody puts together the best team on paper in modern NFL history, it's hard to ignore. So, moving on.
All right, our last NFC division, NFC South. All right, that wasn't a particularly super strong division, but still an interesting one. So, who do you guys got?
I think this year we see the Saints put together one of those sneaky teams where they probably win the division and maybe even eke out a win in the playoffs. I think the Saints made some good additions. I think anybody in that division, you're not expecting much. Your expectations are maybe highest on I don't know. It's kind of the same for all of them, to be honest. So yeah, I see the Saints winning it. If I'm wrong about that, it's the NFC South. So
Yeah.
Who cares?
Falcons. Run the ball.
Okay,
Run the ball.
okay.
Falcons. Run the ball.
I'm going to take the Panthers. I think the positive momentum Bryce Young has got, like the confidence that he has now as a player. I think he's solidified. There's no, you're not pulling him, to prove a point. I think he figured it out that nothing's going to be, you got to earn everything that you get.
Right.
And I think they got some weapons around him too. So I'm thinking I'm going to go with the Panthers.
Okay.
All right.
AFC.
Let's go.
all right.
AFC South division. Who you guys got?
NFC South.
AFC South.
AFC South. It's a tough one. I think the favorites. Who's the favorite right now?
Houston.
Wow.
I thought it would have been the Jags.
I think the Jags are the favorites, and I think the Titans are probably in second for me. I'm going to say the Titans because I do think the Jags are a team that they like doing a progression regression pattern with their football team. So I think the Titans will sneak it out and win. That's a riskier pick, but I see Cam Ward and them making some noise this year.
I'll take the Jags.
I think I'm going to take the Jags too. Look, I don't know what's going on with CJ Stroud. Like, I don't know the regression has been crazy.
Yeah.
Even though I love Cam, I think he's going to take a step forward. I just don't think it will be enough to supplant kind of the most stable team.
And what's interesting is, we're between 3 out of 4 teams, and the team that we're leaving out had a hell of a year last year. So there's a lot. I mean, there's weapons everywhere. There's guys like Baishal Tuden on the Jaguars that I think are going to, and Parker Washington that I think are going to be fantasy studs this year. And yeah, with Stroud, it seems like everybody has this, with CJ Stroud, everybody has this kind of unspoken, it's kind of like they're assuming that he's going to have a good year this year. I don't know if you picked up on that. I think, I mean,
he's going to have a bounce back.
I think
you can't guarantee that.
No, you can't. And especially, I mean, it just looked terrible.
Yeah.
Coming down the stretch last year. I mean,
the league figured him out fairly quickly.
I mean, they whooped the Steelers, right, in the first round of the playoffs. But other than that, I don't think anybody was too high on what they were shaping up to be.
Not at all.
But speaking of the Steelers, let's move right on.
AFC North.
Yep.
I mean, this is an easy one for me.
Okay, well, go then.
I'm taking the Ravens.
Ravens.
I am very, very much interested to see how Declan Doyle transforms Lamar into that next stage and that next phase. I mean, he's a protege, right, of Ben Johnson. So he had that full year sit with Ben and how to work with a star quarterback, a mobile dual threat quarterback. And I'm very interested to see how that transfers to Lamar's stop. So.
I'm going to go with another risky pick. I feel like that seems pretty likely. I'm going to go with the Bengals because of the amount of talent that's over there.
You're banking on a lot of needs.
I'm banking on a lot of need. But I think it's just for that amount of talent to not figure it out and kind of all go to waste. You got to think that, I mean, let's say another year goes by and Joe Burrow is not even close to a playoff spot. Now look at what his career has been with that crazy start and then just constantly riding at the bottom when everyone knows how talented he is and that he has weapons around him. I think sooner or later that has to click in some fashion. So, I'll take a little risk. I'll say Bengals take it this year.
Ravens. Lamar.
Okay. AFC West. All right.
Interesting one.
It's a really interesting one.
Chiefs, man. I ain't about to Chiefs. Chiefs.
I mean, is Patrick Mahomes going to be able to, bounce back?
Yeah,
the
Chiefs.
Broncos.
Yeah.
Sean Payton has them, humming. And then the Chargers, there's nothing to, sneeze at.
Yeah. So the Raiders are obviously the team that's like, they're going to be the young, exciting team that pulls off some upsets this year, and we're going to start getting excited about what the Raiders can turn into. The Chargers and the Broncos are both kind of those on the cusp teams that have a good shot of sneaking into getting into the playoffs and winning a game.
That division to get 2 playoff teams.
But I personally, I'm more bullish, and I wasn't always on the Broncos than I am with the Chargers as far as those two. I think the Broncos will win that division this year. I think KC's problems last year, we're all assuming because of the track record of that coach and quarterback combo that things get figured out and it comes back to, oh yeah, there go the Chiefs again. But I think the Broncos proved last year that they've got a lot of things that a team needs to consider when they're game planning for them. And I see the Broncos taking it.
Man, I just don't believe in Bo Nix like that, man.
I never did. I never did. I never did. But what I did realize is last year they were on a 9-game winning streak and taking down good teams.
Yeah.
And when that happened, he still didn't get any respect. And 9 straight wins in the NFL as a starting quarterback, at the end of it, for everybody to say, I still haven't seen enough, is like, well, at some point, man, there are quarterbacks who don't make the highlight reels that know how to win games. And I don't think you can fully call him a systems guy. I think he does some things that make everybody be like, I don't want that guy on my fantasy team. But ultimately, that's a well-rounded organization. Chiefs are, like I said, everyone's probably expecting that to happen. Are you going Chiefs?
Yeah, I'd probably go Chiefs just because, Denver's good. The Chargers is good. And the really only offensive weapon that they added on the Chiefs is Kenneth Walker, which I think does help the situation.
Which, by the way, watch the regression season that guy has this year. people got hyped up because of what they saw last.
Yeah.
So what have you done for me lately? A lot of people are like, man, Kenneth Walker had a season last year.
Right. If only he had the opportunity.
Go look at where he finished last year, in fantasy football at least, right? Go look at where he finished, and the guy who was injured for part of the season that allowed him to have his breakout maybe finished a spot or two behind him. And I think that was around.
Was that a him thing, or was that just a coaching decision to have that duel?
Well, there's the split for sure, but with the Seahawks, it seems like there's always this kind of waiting for a breakout on a lot of them. With JSN that first season when DK was there, you were like, ah, man, I thought he was going to be the guy, and then he breaks out, and then you do get to a point where it's like, well, I don't know if that's going to happen. And I think he looked great towards the end of the season last year, but especially when you're talking about fantasy, that's not the same as how consistent is this guy's production. Can I rely on him to get me the points I need to win on a weekly basis? I think you'll see a lot of people go draft him because of what they remember from last year. But if you go look at the leaders from last year and running backs, and look where he ended up. It wasn't as remarkable of a season as I think you remember from the end of it. So, and then if anybody want to make a mistake on the AFC East?
Oh God.
I mean, they got the Super Bowl AFC representative there.
Come on.
That's who you should pick. Who you picking?
Oh, the Dolphins.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Okay.
And I think there's going to be an energy about them that is nuts. I think a lot of people are expecting a not so crazy DJ Moore outing. I've seen people say that they don't think he's going to go there and shine. I mean, I think there's a window here where they got to win with Josh. And I think with the new stadium, the way things are shaping up this year, they're set up with a lot of really important parts. I think they might not be done. Maybe we get one more receiving weapon. But if they are done and they move forward like this, we've seen Josh do better with worse. And it'll depend on the rest of the
J-E-T. No, I got the Bills too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's another answer here. The Patriots, they'll be okay, but a lot of off the field stuff, as we know. But yeah, I mean, this is the year for them to do it.
You get that notification yesterday.
Yeah,
Gino's got some accusations.
So that prediction for the last time I talked, it goes out the window. Gino might be doing 5 to
when
10.
you're that good of a quarterback, you can afford to make mistakes like that and get it brushed under the rug.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Gino's just one of those guys that
Yeah.
You gotta.
There we go.
Poor Garrett Wilson, man.
Poor guy.
Poor Garrett Wilson.
This is gonna be like
He'll be
the
traded.
most unlucky.
He gonna ask for a trade.
He's gonna end up going Antonio Brown. He's gonna end up going AB and going nuts. But I mean, imagine AB if he was on the Jets his whole career.
Oh my God.
He would have killed people.
He would have crashed out. He would have crashed out way
man. He'd have been butt naked out there in week 2.
But hey, this is what you're gonna get at Freee Reign. All right. This has been the Freee Reign podcast. All right. I'm Tony Gill. This is Ando, and that's Vic. Let's run it back again. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.